night the city's metro system shut down unexpectedly for maintenance. No one knew the truth behind the announcement, but Liam Morgan did. He had been working as a station assistant at Green Line Junction for almost 4 years, and he had seen strange things before: doors opening on their own, faint footsteps on empty platforms, muffled voices echoing through tunnels long after the last train had passed. But nothing like what happened that night. The air felt heavier from the moment he clocked in, as if the station was breathing slowly, awake in ways it shouldn't be. It was close to 11:45 p.m. when Liam received the order to check Tunnel 3A, a rarely used service line the public never saw. He didn't want to go. Every employee whispered stories about it. A train that disappeared there decades ago. A conductor who was found wandering the tracks alone, staring blankly, unable to speak ever again. But with the entire system shut down, Liam had no excuse to refuse. He grabbed his flashlight, radio, and keys, and stepped into the dim corridor that led underground. Each footstep echoed sharply against the tiled floor, sounding louder than usual, like someone or something was walking right behind him and mimicking his pace. When he turned, there was nothing. The silence in the station felt unnatural, like an empty stage waiting for an actor to enter. Liam pushed open the service gate leading deeper into the tunnels, and as it creaked, a cold draft brushed past him, followed by the faint smell of burnt metal and old electricity. He descended the metal staircase, each step trembling under his boots, until the sounds of the station faded completely, and all that remained was the constant low hum of the power lines overhead. At the bottom, Tunnel 3A stretched out like a dark throat swallowing light. His flashlight beam struggled to cut through the thick darkness, revealing only curved walls lined with grime and forgotten cables. He radioed the control room, entering tunnel now, but only static answered him. He tapped the device a few times. Nothing. Signals often dropped underground, but the silence felt too deliberate. Halfway in, he noticed something odd. A trail of wet footprints, bare and human, leading further into the tunnel. They were fresh. Liam froze. No one was supposed to be down here. He crouched and touched the edge of one print. They were warm, almost as if the person had just stepped there seconds ago. His heart hammered against his ribs. He steadied himself and kept moving. The prints became more frantic, spacing unevenly, as if the person was running. Then suddenly, the tunnel lights flickered to life in the distance. Faint, dying, yellow bulbs that shouldn't even have power during the shutdown. They flickered in a slow rhythm, almost breathing, illuminating something far ahead. A train. But no train was scheduled on this line. And worse, this train looked old. Extremely old. Painted in an outdated metro design used decades ago. The exterior rusted and scarred as if it had been rotting underground for years. Liam approached it cautiously. The headlights were on, but dim. They buzzed with the sound of old electricity, flickering in and out. The doors stood wide open. Every instinct screamed at him to turn back, but something, a faint whisper, like the echo of a woman calling his name, pulled him forward. Liam stepped inside. The interior smelled of mold and wet dust. The seats were torn, wires hung from the ceiling, and the lights flickered overhead. His footsteps echoed unnaturally loud, and when he called out hello, "Anyone here?" his voice didn't bounce back. It sounded swallowed, absorbed by the walls. He slowly moved down the aisle. Then he saw her. A woman sitting alone in the middle of the train, her head bowed, long black hair hiding her face, wearing a soaked white dress dripping onto the floor. Liam froze. "Ma'am, are you all right?" She didn't respond. He approached carefully, but the closer he got, the colder the air became, so cold that his breath turned white. His skin prickled with ice. When he reached her and leaned down to check if she was conscious, she slowly lifted her head. Her face was pale, water dripping from her hollow eyes, her lips trembling as if she was trying to speak, but couldn't form words. Liam stumbled back. She stared at him with a look that wasn't human. It was empty, hopeless, ancient. "Help us," she whispered, her voice echoing unnaturally from every angle, sounding like multiple voices layered together. Then the train doors slammed shut behind him. The lights burst into full brightness, then went completely dark for 2 seconds. When they flicked back on, the woman was gone. But the train wasn't empty. The seats were now filled with passengers, hundreds of them, silent, pale, eyes hollow, all staring forward, frozen as if time had stopped for them. Liam stumbled down the aisle in panic, trying to open the doors, but they wouldn't budge. A loud screeching sound tore through the tunnel as the train began to move. It jerked violently forward, throwing him to the floor. The tunnel outside rushed by in a blur of darkness and faint lights. He scrambled to his feet, slamming buttons, trying emergency latches. Nothing worked. The train sped faster and faster, rattling dangerously. The ghostly passengers slowly turned their heads toward him, one by one, their necks twisting in unnatural angles. Liam backed away, terrified. Then a deep voice echoed through the train speakers, a conductor's voice. But it wasn't human anymore. This train never reached its final stop. The passengers all opened their mouths simultaneously, releasing a long, low moan that vibrated through the entire cabin. The lights turned blood red. Liam's ears rang, his vision blurred, and shadows crawled across the ceiling like living creatures. He sprinted toward the front cabin, tripping as the train shook violently. When he burst into the conductor's compartment, he froze. The conductor wasn't alive. His body sat upright, hands glued to the controls, eyes blackened and hollow, mouth stretched in a silent scream, skin gray like stone. Yet the corpse was still moving, hands twitching like someone was puppeteering him. "You shouldn't be here," the dead conductor whispered without opening his mouth. Liam grabbed the emergency brake. Nothing. It was locked, rusted into place. The train screeched again, louder, like metal tearing apart. Suddenly, the windows went black. Not dark, black, like something was covering them from outside. He pressed his face to the glass, but saw no tunnel, no walls, no lights, just a black void stretching infinitely. The train wasn't underground anymore. It was somewhere else. Somewhere wrong. The conductor corpse turned its head slowly toward Liam, bones cracking with each movement. "They trapped us, and now you're part of it." Liam backed away, shaking, as the ghostly passengers began to stand behind him, moving closer. Their movements were jerky, broken, like marionettes on tangled strings. Panic exploded in his chest. He smashed a window with a fire extinguisher, but instead of breaking, the glass rippled like water. Desperate, he pushed his hand through, and instantly felt freezing cold water on the other side. A massive wave of dark water poured in, knocking him down. He choked, gasping as icy water flooded the cabin. The red lights dimmed underwater, flickering like dying fireflies. He heard the woman's whisper again, right next to his ear. "Run before it takes you." He didn't know how, but her voice gave him clarity. He pushed himself through the window, swimming desperately into the blackness. The water was freezing, crushing, endless. He couldn't see anything. Suddenly something grabbed his ankle, cold fingers. He kicked wildly, breaking free. His lungs burned. His vision darkened. Then light. A faint, distant glow. He swam toward it with the last ounce of strength. As he neared it, he burst upward and sucked in air. He was lying on a platform floor, soaked, trembling, coughing water. The station lights flickered above him. He was back at Green Line Junction. The old train was gone. The tunnel was empty. His radio crackled suddenly. "Liam? You okay? You've been gone for 5 minutes." 5 minutes? He had been inside the nightmare for what felt like hours. Liam staggered to his feet, numb, confused. As he walked back toward the control room, he noticed something horrifying. Wet footprints, bare human, leading out of the tunnel, but they weren't his. And they were still dripping. He slowly looked behind him, but no one was there. Yet he could feel someone watching him from the darkness. The next morning, the metro reopened normally. Commuters traveled like nothing had happened. But rumors grew quickly. Passengers reported seeing a soaked woman standing alone in an empty car, staring blankly as the train sped through darkness. Others heard whispers echoing through tunnels even when no trains were scheduled. Liam quit his job that week, but he still hears the trains at night. Not the real ones, the other ones. The lost ones. The ones that never reach their final stop. And sometimes when he closes his eyes, he sees the dead conductor staring at him from the darkness, waiting for the moment the metro claims him again.